Judge Judy looked across the courtroom with obvious curiosity the moment she realized the two defendants were sisters. Your sisters? Yes, Mom. And Miss Werich was your friend? Yes. According to the testimony, the entire situation started during a birthday celebration. The group spent the evening together, before eventually heading out to a bar later that night. Judge Judy carefully pieced the story together, step by step. So there was some kind of birthday party. You all went to a bar, and, while there, Miss Warich met a man and decided she wanted going back to his house afterward? Yes. Judge Judy nodded. And all of you went back to this guy's house? Yes. At first, everything sounded fairly normal, friends celebrating, a night out, a ride home afterward. But then the evening suddenly changed. According to the testimony, Miss Warich eventually decided she wanted staying overnight with the man she met. Judge Judy immediately focused on one detail. Had you known him before? Yes. He was already a friend of mine. Then, the judge turned toward the male witness who later drove everyone home. You drove the girls back? Yes, Your Honor. And you were sober? Yes. Judge Judy looked toward the others. She wasn't sober? No, Your Honor. One of the sisters, however, admitted she had remained sober throughout the night. Judge Judy immediately pointed toward her. You were the sober sister? Yes, Mom. That detail became very important. According to the witness, the girls were eventually driven back to Miss Warich's apartment. The same apartment where the evening originally started. Judge Judy carefully continued organizing the timeline. You had keys to the apartment? Yes. And originally the plan was for everyone to spend the night there after going out? Yes, at least, that was according to the sisters. But Miss Warich immediately interrupted. There was never any agreement for them to stay over. The courtroom tension immediately rose. Judge Judy paused briefly before continuing. The women originally met around 4 or 5 in the afternoon and went together to the gym before, later, preparing for the birthday celebration. Judge Judy suddenly became unusually amused by the timeline. So, after the gym, you all went shopping for clothes to wear out? Yes, and afterward, everybody came back, showered, and got ready for the evening? Yes. That meant something important. All of the sisters' gym clothes, sneakers, and belongings remained inside Miss Warich's apartment. Judge Judy smiled slightly. I love when a game plan comes together. The courtroom laughed softly. Now the timeline finally made sense. Miss Warich stayed behind with the man from the bar, while the others returned to her apartment, using the apartment keys already given to them. But now came the real issue. According to Miss Warich, when she eventually returned home later, she found her apartment destroyed. Judge Judy immediately focused on the sober sister because, according to the judge, she was likely the most reliable witness in the room. What happened when you got back to the apartment? The older sister, Shiva, suddenly became emotional. According to her, the moment they arrived home, she immediately realized something was seriously wrong with her younger sister. Her lips were blue, her face looked pale, and she appeared almost completely unresponsive. The courtroom became silent instantly. Shiva explained. She panicked immediately because she was taking care of her intoxicated younger sister. She grabbed a glass of water from the kitchen intending helping her recover, but according to Shiva, glass unexpectedly shattered. The moment her sister grabbed it, everything happened instantly. The broken glass sliced deeply into her sister's hand and knuckle. Blood appeared immediately, and, according to Shiva, her sister completely freaked out the moment she saw part of her finger exposed through the injury. Judge Judy listened carefully while the courtroom atmosphere turned far more serious than before. Wonen stan. Because now, what originally sounded like a simple party night dispute suddenly involved injuries, blood, intoxication, and accusations about what actually happened inside the apartment. Afterward, Judge Judy leaned forward carefully as Shiva continued describing the chaotic scene inside the apartment. According to her, the younger sister immediately panicked after the glass shattered in her hand. There was blood everywhere, and because she was already heavily intoxicated, injury looked even more horrifying to her in that moment. Shiva explained. She tried calming her down, while wrapping the injured hand as quickly as possible. But emotions inside the apartment were already spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, Miss Warach claimed something completely different happened after the girls returned home. According to her, when she eventually arrived back at the apartment later that night, place looked destroyed. She claimed items inside the apartment had been damaged during the chaos following the injury. Judge Judy immediately stopped her. But you weren't there. No, the judge nodded slowly. That detail mattered. Because according to the testimony, Miss Warach stayed behind at the other man's house while the sisters returned home first, meaning she never actually witnessed what happened inside the apartment herself. Judge Judy turned back toward Shiva. You were sober the whole night? Yes, Mom. That made her testimony far more credible in the judge's eyes. According to Shiva, the situation inside the apartment was not some wild destructive rampage like Miss Warach later described. Instead, she claimed the entire night turned into panic because her younger sister was bleeding heavily and emotionally unstable after the glass shattered. Judge Judy asked exactly how the glass broke. Shiva explained. She simply grabbed a random glass from underneath the cabinet, filled it with water, and handed it over. But when her sister grabbed the glass, suddenly shattered in her hand. According to Shiva, she did not know whether the glass had already been cracked beforehand. The younger sister screamed immediately after seeing the injury. Blood ran down her hand, and part of the skin near her finger appeared peeled back badly enough to terrify her. The courtroom became quiet again. Judge Judy carefully watched everyone while piecing together the timeline. The sober sister appeared calm, direct, consistent. Meanwhile, Miss Warach remained focused on the condition of her apartment afterward. According to her, returning home later that night felt shocking because the apartment no longer looked normal. But Judge Judy quickly noticed something important. Nobody actually claimed the sisters intentionally damaged the apartment. Everything described so far sounded more like panic and confusion after an injury involving broken glass. Then the judge focused on another detail. You knew they left belongings at your apartment earlier in the day? Yes, gym clothes, shoes, personal items, all still remained there after the women went out for the evening. Which meant returning to the apartment afterward was completely expected. The courtroom atmosphere slowly shifted again, because now Judge Judy no longer seemed focused on whether the women had permission being there. Instead, real question became what exactly happened after they arrived home. Injured and intoxicated, Shizva explained that once the glass shattered and blood appeared, everyone inside the apartment became frantic. The younger sister panicked emotionally. People rushed trying helping her. And, according to Shiva, the situation quickly became chaotic because nobody knew how serious the cut actually was. Judge Judy listened carefully. Then she asked the question that mattered most. Did you intentionally damage anything inside the apartment? No, Mom. Shiva insisted the entire situation was an accident, created by panic, intoxication, and the broken glass injury. Meanwhile, Miss Werich still believed the apartment should never have ended up in that condition, regardless of the emergency. Judge Judy stared down briefly at the case file again, then back up at the witnesses, and it was obvious she still believed important parts of the story were missing.